Hey y'all, welcome down to the Smoke Dungeon. Today, I got a special treat for y'all. We're going to take a look at Bismarck Solitaire. Now this here is what we call an epic saddo adventure. This made me think a lot about myself because it's not even a solo board game. It's a book game, y'all. And you know what? I've had this for a few months. I actually saw it on another YouTube channel. I think it's the Discriminating Gamer. It's a dude who's always wearing a funny hat. I feel bad now that I forget his name. But yeah, I saw it on his channel one night when I was putting the kids to bed. I sit on the steps and listen to YouTubes. And it was his. And he had this game. And he had, I think, another one called Waterloo Solitaire. And they were both by Worthington, who I love some Worthington games, as y'all know. And this one, I also love naval games and World War II naval games because I grew up on them. So it's kind of like my bread and butter. And when I went down that YouTube rabbit hole about this game, I decided I would order it. And I found it on Amazon for $30, I think, or like $27. We'll say $30, right? Cover is awesome. Tom Freeman art. Also, it has what could be one of the funniest understated lines ever. Book game requires 2 dice, a pen, and a sense of adventure to play. And I, as you all know, am a man with quite a sense of adventure. I actually am not. But I do love some World War II Navy stuff. And I love books. And I thought, what wouldn't be sadder than a book game? So I bought this because I have 2 dice and a pen. So what we have here is actually a masterpiece, y'all. I honestly want to say I friggin' love this. It's fantastic. So it is 58 pages long, I believe. 58. Look at all those charts and tables. Yeah, it's about 58 pages long. What it is you have about 3 pages of rules. It's super easy, y'all, which DB likes. You have your rules here. Very well done. Examples. Then you have an overview of the game, like some designer notes, game history, how to win, an example of movement, and then some credits and shout outs. You have some cool silhouette of the Bismarck. And then right here you have a go over of a detailed example of play. Pretty great, right? And then we started off, and this masterpiece, check it out. It's actually in color, right? But what DB does, because I get my mileage out of this, is I photocopy this page, and you'll see why. Because you write on the map the position of the Bismarck. Because in this game, you are the Bismarck, the Prince Eugen, and I believe you get a U-boat as well. And you have a mission, and then you plot your course, and after every move where you plot your move, you roll for an event, 2 dice. And then you look upon this chart up top here. Say you got a 3 and a 4. It's a lone warship event. And depending on which color of these squares you're in on this corresponding map, this lone warship would be the Hood. Oh, the Hood is blowed up, sir. King George V, Prince of Wales, or the Rappin' Rodney. Super easy. It's got just a little bit of fluff. There's combat. Is super easy. It's die rolls. And you check off boxes down here. You track your own damage on the Bismarck down here. And then you have some special tactics you can use at long range to escape, or you can close in on certain events when you're battling other ships. And then some of the events are just like weather, rough, fog, things of that nature. There's an aerial attack, supply ships, and each page is a separate mission with a brand new table. Now, some of these actually repeat, as on this one, they're the same. So like right here, these two are the same, but they're all not the same, right? The maps are always the same. These are kind of different. The ships down the bottom are always going to be the same. They're the same ones. And then over here, you have your mission objectives and how to win. You have a nice detailed turn sequence of play in case you forget the whole 6 steps. And then you have your turn tracker. And you also have how the mission rates. So there's easy, there is difficult, would be this one, is difficult. The Allies are ramping up the supply of convoys to aid the British. Sail with the Prince Eugen to the shipping lanes and use the U-boat to your advantage. Sink convoys and starve the British. They have a nice picture of the Prince Eugen on that one. And then they have, from difficult, they actually go to hard. Fighting in the Mediterranean has intensified. Draw the British ships back north by interrupting the shipping lanes again. Rommel needs a break. Smash some convoys to even the odds. Old Rommel. And it's crazy because, like, obviously, depending on, you can kind of, like, a game can take long or it can take as short as you want it based upon when you return to Brest to complete your mission. You always want to return to Brest or Bergen after a certain amount of turns. So you're basically cruising around trying to do stuff. You decide where you want to do it, and then you want to be able to get back to one of these in the last usually 5, 6, 7 turns or so. All the while staying alive. So it doesn't necessarily take that long, but I'll tell you right now why I love this game. Besides the fact that I photocopy and can play it a million times, as long as you're not dumb enough to write in the book with marker. But I love this game because it plays just like some old board games that I remember as a kid, like Avalon Hill, Bismarck, where you had your search grid maps and stuff. So you kind of, even though you're the Bismarck and you're not really searching as such, you're kind of moving around. There's still that same kind of feel to it. There's dice involved, so I love it right there. It's not card driven or anything. And the other crazy thing why this game is, even though it's very themey, which always hits home with me, especially Bismarck, is that it is a book. It literally is like a magazine. It's like like a nice softback D&D book or like a White Dwarf or something. The page quality is actually very good. And you can just like throw it in your book bag and have it with you. I made photocopies of a bunch of pages and stuck them in where they're supposed to be. And recently we went away for a while, for a few days up away, and took the kids and everything and the dog. So I didn't have room in the car to bring a game, and we were staying someplace with a bunch of the family. So even if I wanted to bring a solo game, there's no other war gamers in the family yet. My kids aren't old enough. Curses. But even if I wanted to bring a solo game, maybe I could have, but it would have been a pain in the butt, to keep it set up if I needed to or anything like that. Whereas with this, this is perfect. You just I photocopied, I think, 7 or 8 different ones, shoved them in where they need to be, and then threw this in with, like, the kids' stuffed animals and junk. And then, late at night, I played. All I needed was 2 dice and a pencil and my sense of adventure. So, this is an absolute home run for me. I'm going to probably get the Waterloo one too, because I dig some Napoleonics. I'm not going to lie. I am an old grognardy type anyway. So So yeah, I just wanted to give this one a special shout out, and special shout out to the discriminating gamer for putting me on to it. You know, it's a great $30 spent, and then making photocopies. You know, you got the cost of photocopies, and you basically have a game forever. The only knock I can think on this game is that it would have been way cooler if it was in a spiral notebook thing, like one of those like kind of laminated and then have the spiral thing, because it would be easier to photocopy it, and maybe you could laminate it then and use like a dry erase pen on it, and you know, but then I guess that would be more than a pen, you know, that would be a little bit more than a sense of adventure. So anyway, Bismarck Solitaire, Worthington, absolutely love it. You know what I mean? If you're a saddo and you can tolerate going to the extra level of saddo game that is a book game as opposed to an actual board game, then it's totally, it's all you, dude. Play it on the train. Play it wherever you want. I mean, it's perfect. You can roll it up, fit it in your back pocket. That's what I'm talking about. Bismarck Solitaire. Go buy a copy. You'll love it. You'll love it. That's it. Be good to one another and do what you feel.